Attorney General Merrick Garland said the special counsel investigation into the president's handling of classified documents is complete. So can you tell us whether the president was personally briefed on the contents of the report, and if so, when and by whom?
So I don't have anything for you at this time. I would refer you to the Department of Justice or the White House, obviously the White House counsel, my colleagues there for specifics on the question you just asked. I just don't have anything to share at this time.
The White House counsel office hasn't said those specifics. Is that something you can get back to us with, whether the president
honestly, you can just reach out directly to them. They have been pretty, as you know, my colleagues there have been pretty responsive. So I would really direct you to them specifically.
And multiple times this week, the president in his public remarks talked about having conversations in 2021 with European leaders who were deceased at that time. So can you give us an explanation into why the president was referring to those people in those conversations and what exactly happened there?
So I know there's been a lot of focus on this. I want to just step back for a second and just kind of think really kind of top level of what the president was talking about. When he was having, as he tells the story about having these conversations with world leaders, which are obviously important conversations, he was underlying the January 6 events in 2021, what happened, the message that it sent around the globe, around the world, to our leaders, to world leaders, how dangerous it is, our democracy, how important democracy was. Or continues to be, obviously, and he was asked. When he was, after he was elected, when he went to the G7, he said, and you saw this, it was something that we were saying throughout that trip, America is back. America's back. And what was asked of him was for how long? And that whole story is just to reiterate, to really land, obviously, how important what we saw that event, how important it is to continue to fight for our democracy, but also how important it is the United States, their leadership, our leadership here in the globe. And so he never thought, this is someone who was a senator, he was a vice president. He has a relationship with some of these world leaders for decades, and he never thought that he would hear that. And so you hear him say that, you hear him talk about it. Another part of it too is how unprecedented that moment was in January 6th when 2,000 person mob went to the Capitol because they were lied to about the results of the election, because they wanted to overturn the election. So just really want to make sure that we get that we understand why the reason he was telling that story. And look, as it relates to the names and what he was trying to say, look, many people, elected officials, many people, they can misspeak sometimes, right? And look, let me give you a couple of examples. On Sunday, Speaker Johnson said Iran instead of Israel. This happens. Joe is not here. There are many times I call Joe from USA Today Michael. I'm sure he doesn't appreciate that. He doesn't. I've apologized to him many times. Now I call him JoJo because the president calls him JoJo. And also Sean Hannity himself has said Jason Chaffetz when he met Matt Gaetz. I mean, it happens. It really happens. Rick Scott even confuses saving Medicare money with cutting Medicare. And so this happens. It happens to all of us, and it is common. But I do want to make sure we don't forget what the overall arching kind of theme, what he is trying to say about our leadership on the global stage.
Okay. All those people you mentioned, yourself included, are a lot younger than the president, and obviously as he's heading into the election season, one of the things that people are talking about in polls is a concern about his age. What do you say then to Americans who have that concern and they see 3 times in just a couple days the president getting the name of a leader wrong and referencing somebody who is deceased?
So look, again, as you just stated in your question to me, I just laid out other leaders in their community or elected officials who have done the same. So it is not uncommon. Look, as it relates to what the American people feel or what the American people think, I want to be really careful because you did ask me that question in a context of the election, so I can't really speak to the election, any upcoming election. But I can say this: this is a president that has had a very successful 3 years. When you look at the economy, when you look at climate change, when you look at COVID, all the crises that he had to deal with when he walked into this administration, that was done by someone who has experience, understands relationship on the other side of Pennsylvania, understands what it means to bring two sides together, to get things done, understands where the people are and our Americans are and what they're feeling and how to deliver. And that's why you see an economy. All the data shows, and even experts, and some of you have written how the economy has come back. A lot of that is because of what this president has done. So look, his leadership, his experience, we believe, speaks for itself. And I think that's what is important. And I hope that the American people see that.
If I can just, on the documents question, just to try it, the president did say last January that when it comes to his handling of classified documents, there's no there. Is that still the case?
Well, I'm not gonna get ahead, certainly, of what is going to come out. I'm just going to be really mindful here. I'm just not going to get into at this point right now. It would be me making a hypothetical comment because we just don't have anything at this time, obviously. But I'm going to any specifics, any details or anything related to that, obviously, as it relates to our comments from here would have to come from the White House counsel. I just don't have anything to share at this time. Go ahead, Kevin.
When